7-year-old girl in a red dress bound to her blue wheelchair is abandoned on a dirt track by the very woman sworn to protect her, her stepmother. But when the rear-view mirror reveals more than dust, the truth explodes, and a father must face the betrayal he never imagined. What happens next will break your heart and open your eyes. Before we dive in, let us know in the comments what time is it and where are you watching from. Let's start. The wind cut across the empty dirt track, sending dust into the air as a black sedan rolled slowly to a stop. The tires crunched against gravel, leaving a cloud behind. Inside the car, Mara Keene gripped the wheel, her knuckles white with irritation. In the back seat, Elsie, a small girl of 7 in a bright red dress, sat quietly in her blue wheelchair, tears already shimmering in her brown eyes. "Marla, where are we going?" Elsie asked, her voice trembling. Mara shot her a look in the rear-view mirror, her lips curling. "Out! I need some peace, and you need to learn not to whine every minute of the day." "I'm not whining," Elsie whispered. "I'm just scared." "Scared," Mara barked, throwing the car into park. "You think I'm not scared every day? Scared of bills, scared of falling behind, scared of your father realizing you hold us back. You think you're the only one with problems." Elsie's hands tightened on the metal arms of her chair. "I didn't ask to be like this, and I didn't ask to be stuck raising someone else's broken child." Mara snapped, her words cut like knives, and she didn't flinch when Elsie gasped. The girl's lip trembled. "Daddy doesn't say I'm broken. Your father," Mara sneered, "is blind. He sees you in that red dress and pretends the chair doesn't exist. But I see it every day. The extra time, the extra effort, always slowing me down." Mara stepped out of the car, heels sinking into the dirt. She yanked open the back door and shoved the wheelchair out, its frame clattering on the gravel. Elsie held on to the armrests as the chair jolted. "Mara, please," Elsie cried. "Enough," Mara's voice was sharp. "You sit here. Think about how much everyone has to do for you. Think about how useless you make me feel." She dragged the chair closer to the shoulder of the road. Dust stung Elsie's cheeks. Elsie's small voice quivered. "The chair rolls here. It's not flat." Mara gave the chair a shove, letting one wheel tilt toward the slope. "Then use your hands. Figure it out. You always want attention." "Well, now you'll get some." Tears streamed down Elsie's face. "You can't leave me here. Cars come fast. Please, Mara, please don't." Mara leaned down until her face was inches from Elsie's. "Your father isn't here to protect you. And if you tell him anything, remember, I'll make sure he blames you. I'll tell him you begged to stop, that you're dramatic, that you love to make me look bad." Elsie's chest heaved. "That's not true. You think truth matters," Mara hissed. "What matters is who he believes." She straightened, brushed the dust off her dress, and slid back into the driver's seat. The car door slammed, echoing down the lonely road. Elsie gripped the wheel brakes, but her right lever was loose, already cracked from Mara's rough handling earlier that week. She pressed it desperately, but it slipped under her trembling fingers. The chair jerked forward an inch. Her panic rose. "Mara, the brake doesn't hold." But Mara only rolled down her window and looked out with cold eyes. "Cry louder. Maybe someone will hear you." The engine revved. Gravel spat from the tires as the sedan pulled forward. Dust swallowed the air. Elsie coughed, wiping her wet face, but she couldn't see past the blur of brown clouds rising from the road. "Don't leave me," she screamed, her voice cracking. "Please don't leave me." Mara didn't answer, her silhouette stiffened in the driver's seat, hands steady on the wheel. She pressed harder on the accelerator, the black car sliding forward, picking up speed. Elsie's chair shifted again. The slope pulled her toward the white edge line of the asphalt. She clamped her small hands on the rims, fighting to stop the slide, but her palms burned from the rough metal. Her tears mixed with dust until her whole face stung. She shouted once more, her voice breaking apart. "I can't hold it." The car moved farther down the track, but inside Mara's jaw twitched. Against her will, her eyes darted to the rear-view mirror. At first, she saw only the outline of the red dress shrinking in the distance, the small figure shaking with sobs. Then her eyes caught something else, something that froze her breath. The mirror wasn't just reflecting. A square feed glowed faintly in the corner, blinking red. The rear camera, the one Evan had installed after an accident last month, was recording. Not only recording, uploading. A small notification flashed across the mirror screen. "Upload in progress." Mara's heart slammed against her ribs. Her nails dug into the steering wheel. She whispered under her breath, voice shaking for the first time that day, "No, no, no, no." Behind her, in that glowing square, the picture was clear. Elsie's wheelchair tipped again, rolling closer to the road as a faint horn sounded from the distance. Mara's pupils widened. She gripped the wheel tighter, torn between pressing harder on the gas and slamming on the brakes. The car surged forward another 10 ft, then jolted as Mara's foot wavered. Her chest heaved. She stared at the blinking red light in the mirror. Elsie screamed again, shrill and raw. "Help me!" The horn grew louder, rattling in the air. Dust swirled around Elsie's red dress, the wheels of her blue chair edging closer to the asphalt. She pressed her small hands against the rims, crying out, "Stop! Stop!" Her palms were already raw, but the slope pulled mercilessly. In the rear-view mirror, Mara's heart pounded against her chest. The blinking red dot of the rear camera feed glared at her like a curse. Her face tightened as she whispered, "It's a bloating. Evan will see everything." The sedan slowed. Tires squealed against gravel as Mara slammed the brake. She gripped the wheel, torn in half by her own cruelty and the panic of being exposed. But before she could reach Elsie, a rumbling engine thundered. From the opposite direction, a truck appeared around the bend. Behind its cracked windshield sat Raffi, a middle-aged driver whose eyes immediately locked on the girl in the chair. His foot crushed the brake. "Move the chair, little one, move!" he shouted from the cab. Elsie gasped, twisting her body, dragging the one working brake with every ounce of strength. The wheelchair jolted, tipped slightly, then rolled sideways into the gravel shoulder. Dust exploded around her as the truck roared past, horn blaring. The rush of wind knocked her hair across her tear-stained face. Elsie sobbed in relief, gripping the armrests as if they were lifelines. I thought I was going to die." The sedan screeched as Mara swung it back around. She jumped out, slamming the door, running toward Elsie with feigned panic. "Sweetie, oh God, I was just turning the car around. You scared me half to death." Her voice was syrup, but her eyes were still. Elsie shook her head furiously. "You left me. You said I was broken." Raffi pulled his truck onto the shoulder, climbed down, and strode toward them. He had heard enough through his open window, his boots crunched in the dirt. "Lady, you left this girl on the road," Marla snapped. "Mind your business, this is family." Raffi folded his arms. "Family doesn't dump a child on a dirt track." His eyes narrowed on Elsie's wheelchair. He crouched, pointing to the white scrape across the brake lever. "That's been yanked hard. Who did this?" Elsie's voice was tiny but clear. "She broke it." At home, she didn't care. Mara's face flushed. "Liar," she barked, stepping toward the girl. Raffi raised his hand like a wall. "Enough." He pulled out his phone, holding it up. "And the whole world will believe her. I heard every word you shouted." At that moment, Mara's own sedan beeped faintly. Her eyes shot to the mirror display, now glowing with a new notification. "Upload complete, shared with Evan Hale." Her throat closed. Miles away, Evan sat in his pickup, dirty from a day at work. His phone buzzed. He frowned, opening the notification from the rear cam app. His blood ran cold as he watched the feed. Marla's hand shoving the wheelchair out. Elsie crying. Mara driving away, sneering. Every cruel word caught in crystal clarity. Evan didn't think. He tore down the highway, gravel spitting under his tires. Every mile filled with rage and guilt. Back at the dirt track, Mara grabbed the wheelchair handles, trying to spin the story. "Elsie, tell him when he comes that I was just teaching you to be strong, okay? Don't you dare ruin me." Elsie turned her wet face toward her, lips trembling. "I don't have to ruin you. You already did." The words cut deeper than anything. Moments later, Evan's pickup skidded to a stop, dust curling around the scene. He jumped out, sprinting. His eyes landed on Elsie. Tear-streaked dress covered in dirt. Small hands raw and scraped. He dropped to his knees, clutching her face. "Baby girl, are you okay?" Elsie sobbed into his chest. "She left me. Daddy, she left me." Evan's body shook with fury. He stood, turning to Mara. "Tell me this isn't real. Tell me that video lied." Mara stammered. She's dramatic. She begged me to stop. "I was trying to scare her into being stronger." "You don't scare children into strength," Evan roared, his voice cracking. "You don't dump a 7-year-old in a wheelchair on a road." Raffi nodded, arms crossed. "I saw it. I heard it." "And so did your camera." Mara's hands trembled. "You don't understand, Evan. She makes everything harder. She's not mine. That's the truth." Finally, Evan spat. "She's not yours. She's mine, and you'll never be near her again." The stepmother's mask shattered. Her shoulders slumped, then twisted into rage. "You'll regret this." "No," Evan said, his voice low. "Final. The only thing I regret is trusting you with her." Rafik's phone was already dialing the authorities. Mara turned pale, realizing the game was over. Evan knelt again, wrapping Elsie in his arms. "You're safe now. I saw it. I know the truth. I'll never let anyone hurt you again." Elsie's small fingers clutched his shirt. "Don't leave me, Daddy. I won't." "Never again," his voice broke. "I promise." The sun bled into the horizon, painting the dust-filled sky orange. The black sedan sat abandoned door ajar, mirror still glowing faintly with the damning red light. In that mirror, the last image reflected a man holding his little girl in a red dress, her wheelchair steady on the shoulder, safe proof that cruelty had been seen and that justice would follow. If this story moved you, don't scroll away. Show your support. Hit like, share your thoughts in the comments, and make sure to subscribe for more powerful emotional stories. Where are you watching from? Tell us below. We'd love to know.